Hi, friends. It's Heidi M, and you're listening to another episode of an extension of Heidi's Musings, the website where I cover arts and culture in Toronto, Canada. Today, I'm going to be speaking with multidisciplinary artist to be young anitafrika, to be lovely to see you virtually, even.
Wonderful to see you too, Heidi. It's really wonderful to be here. Thank
Um, I'm I'm
you.
so excited to speak to you. I've been following your work for I feel like a while. I think as long as the trilogy. We're going to be speaking about your trilogy, the SANKOFA trilogy, for folks who are maybe not familiar about the trilogy, but I kind of want to get folks to understand you in terms of your vast array of work. You're a writer, you're a poet, and you also now are a, playwright and all of these other amazing artistic endeavors.
Mhm.
What is it about the arts that has always kind of pulled you into that being an extension of yourself?
I grew up in the arts through my mother, and so that was my first introduction was watching my mother on stage as a poet and as an actor.
Hmm.
And then I also grew up in Jamaica, in Kingston, which is filled with artistic expression as a part of life. So
Hmm.
the marketplace, the kitchen, the yard,
Hmm.
the literal theater, and also the theater on the streets, the
Right.
music, the poetry, the color, the vibrancy. There is an organicness to artistic expression as a part of human expression coming out of African diasporic Caribbean culture.
That's right.
So in that way, it is a part of the fabric of life and a lens that I grew up learning to see life through.
Hmm.
And then as I became an adult, my own interest and connection and embodiment of art focus primarily on developing a voice to articulate some of the experiences that I had in my childhood
Hmm.
were challenging to express because of societal status quo and because of patriarchy and because of um, classism, because of anti-Blackness. And so in my early adulthood, art was really the place that I could say some of the things that I wanted to say, things like talking about what young children, my focus was on young girls,
Yeah.
what they experience growing up in households and environments that are sexually violent and predatory.
Hmm.
And I also wanted to talk about the impact, the psycho-emotional impact of anti-Blackness on Black women. My focus, particularly on dark-skinned Black women.
Hmm.
And I wanted to talk about the psycho-emotional impact of classism
Right.
and ableism and shadism and xenophobia.
Hmm.
So the art provided me a space to be able to metabolize the things that I was experiencing. So it's cultural, but then it also became a choice,
Right.
something I moved towards to better understand my own humanity and also to save myself.
Hmm. It's so interesting you say that because I'm on the other side as an audience person, and I was saying to a mutual friend, acquaintance, Donna G from CRUT.
Big
Um,
energy.
and and I speak to her about the arts because she's one of the first folks that I kind of got to know in this sphere. But I talk to friends about going to experience art because that's how I process a lot of the stuff that you're discussing in terms of being in a woman's body and all the things, all the layers that we carry. So I may not be making art, but I'm also processing through your art and other people's art. So
Uh,
I think it serves that purpose dually for you as an artist and myself.
Absolutely. The people who femtored and mentored me throughout the years, my mother, first of all, Anita
Mhm.
Stewart, pioneer dub poets in Jamaica, people like Blacka Ellis, pioneer dub poets here, people like Audrey Mandiela,
Mhm.
Diane Allen, theater practitioners like Janet Sears. I mention these people because in growing up in Jamaica and here, they modeled this positioning of the artist where in one part of the reality, the artist is addressing self and the artist's own humanity, and in another part of the reality, it's a shared reality. It's like a whole. In another part of it, what you just mentioned in terms of what the community receives when they participate in a ritual that really cannot work without the artist and the community being in kinship. So it needs for, I think, for art to work, or at least the art that I am interested in,
Yeah.
it needs the relationship, the kinship between the community and the artist.
Mhm.
I propose certain creative catalysts,
Yes.
and the community is in I am in conversation with the
Mhm.
community in those proposals, and those proposals, be it a play or a poem or a dub concert, are meant to catalyze a deeper conversation moving towards action for whatever it is that we're wrestling with.
That's right.
Ultimately, the art is there to do multiple things. It is there to support metabolizing or experiences. It's also there to be a medium to create the possibility of profound conversations moving into action. It
Mhm.
is also there to provide us with our psycho-emotional spiritual release. It's
Mhm.
functioning in many ways, and that's why I keep returning to it, because it is so multi-dimensional. We talk about the three-dimensional and the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension, and I really feel that in art we are able to access those multiplicities of realities, those multiple universes, those multiple worlds, those multiple layers of perspective. It really allows us to do this time jump, and I
Yes.
think
Yes.
indigenous folks have been practicing that for many years. Indigenous folks from all over the world, indigenous folks from Turtle Island, from the global south, indigenous folks from the global north, indigenous folks from Africa, have really been using art as this magical futuristic past and present and future
Mhm.
portal. That's
That's
what it
right.
feels like to me.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And it also kind of ties well into what we really want to highlight, which is your trilogy that's now being remounted at the theater center again. It's been 20 years that we've journeyed with you. Some of us have. I will say that I knew of, so there are three, blood clot, benu, and words on powah. And my introduction was through a friend told me about blood clot, but I think it was you were doing the poetry. Um, and they were just super excited and like, you need to experience this. And I'm like, I'm gonna get to it at some point. So that's my first introduction to your work. And then I've seen you workshop Benu and Word Sound Power. And I wanna talk to you about this you call them biomyth monodramas, and I think it kind of links to what you were just telling us about the transcendence of dimensions. How do you want folks who may not be familiar with your work to understand what you mean by that?
Yeah, wow. Because we've been in community for a very long time. The biomyth monodrama is it's many things. I just finished my PhD and I got the opportunity to really take a few years
Mhm.
to understand my own work and to pause on producing
Right.
material and to just sit with my body of work and to really look into what is it that I'm trying to say to myself? What is it that I'm trying to say to community? And what are the techniques and frameworks that are at work in the work?
Yes.
So, in pairing into the work, I sort of recognize that there's this trifecta of processes, and I'm obsessed with three. I've been obsessed with three since I was a child, so
It's a
it,
good number.
it's not going to leave me in this lifetime. So, I'm like that groove is so deep in my brain.
Hmm.
The first part of that three-stage process, and I will say that this three-stage process that I've identified, these ideas are not original to me. These are ideas that belong to us as storytellers. And what
Hmm.
I've done is I have identified how they are functioning in my work.
Right.
First part is remembering, and I spell remembering re/slash
Yes.
remembering because the is a return. I'm pulling on the African philosophy of Sankofa to return and get the knowledge. So
Hmm.
this remembering is you or I really being with what's happened in our bodies and our cells and sitting with that and going beyond that. What is unresolved?
Hmm.
What stays activated, percolating below the surface of our skin? What produces sensation when we re-engage with it through thought? And I'll be, absolutely honest. For me, at 20 years old, that was remembering the experience of sexual trauma.
Hmm.
And that's where blood.claat comes from. That first play, that
Yes.
that that remembering would not leave me alone. I could not escape it. And,
Yes.
and as an artist, as I was saying earlier, with art as a portal, I thought, well, let me write about it. And I wrote about it in poetry. I wrote about it in these different ways, but the play emerged from that place of remembering. The
Hmm.
second stage of biomyth monodrama is restorying. And
Yes.
here's where the magic of being a storyteller comes in handy. We
Hmm.
can remember, and there are lots of traditions of autobiographical storytelling that
Yes.
are powerful traditions
Hmm.
of autobiographical and biographical storytelling. It is not the first place that I go to. For me, the biographical must meet the mythologized.
Right.
One, because I'm also obsessed with myth, but I'm
Right.
also obsessed with this idea of poetic licensing, and I do believe in this idea that we are co-creating our reality. I do. So restorying becomes a crucial part of biomyth monodrama because the practitioner remembers and then they move that memory into another place, a
Hmm.
place of creative fiction, a place of mythologizing. Now, I want you to think of mythologizing as a two-parter. So the
Yes.
first part is changing the circumstances of the memory. That's one part. But there's
Yes.
another crucial part. It is utilizing myths that already exist in our indigenous lineages,
Hmm.
daring to return and get those myths and bring them into the now. In
Hmm.
the case of the Sankofa trilogy, when I say myth, myth does not equal fictional.
Right.
Myth for me equals cultural narratives that are magical and empowering and that allow the practitioner to feel emboldened to make change. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm also using the word myth in, like, I've got this
Yes.
definition in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And so in Blood Clot, for example, Nanny, Queen Nanny of the Maroons, who is a cultural figure, a historical cultural figure in Jamaica, who comes with all these stories about her physical prowess and her magical abilities and her expert witchcraft and her warriorship. These myths, heavy quotations, or myth as I see them, these myths are brought into Blood Clot, the play, as a part of the restoring to support
Mm-hmm.
the protagonists in arriving at a place of empowerment.
That's right.
And the third and final element of biomyth monodrama, as I design it, is
Mm-hmm.
refuturing.
Right.
And again, like I said earlier, these terms are not new, but the approach is nuanced.
Right.
Refuturing is this idea that the past, the present, and the future is connected, not an original thought. I want the practitioner, the one who's creating, the one who I call the biomythicist.
Yes,
I
yes.
want the biomythicist to envision a future in which their protagonist is achieving liberation. This is a very
Mm-hmm.
important thing to me. This is a very important thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say liberation, like, people have people have described my work as tragic and comedic because
Mm.
very often my characters experience a death, but that death is not the finality of death as we understand it in a
Mm-hmm.
biological sense. That death is often a metaphor represented possibly in biological death. But for me, as a biomythicist, that death is about rebirth. That death is about standing for something and being willing to release this life as we know it in
Right.
order for transformation to happen. I believe so fundamentally in this. So it's a recurring metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
So biomyth monodrama really is anchored in remembering, restoring, and refuturing. And
Mm-hmm.
then there are other elements of it, like music. It's
Yes.
heavily invested in the music. Also, the biomythicist is somewhat of an acrobat on stage. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think movement is important, and
Yes.
the embodiment of one's whole physiological self is important, and also the breaking of the fourth wall. Like, there's a real conversation in biomyth monodrama happening with the audience.
Mm-hmm.
The audience is a part of the magic that is happening on stage.
That's right.
And biomyth monodrama also means there may be a single performer, but there may be other people on stage involved as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
also take a lot of poetic license with having multiple performers on stage with me. It's still biomyth monodrama because the biomythicist, the creator, playwright, director, possibly performer, is really fashioning this world and being supported by a team of people.
That's right. And in speaking of the iterations of the three shows, I see what you're talking about, the reframing, remembering, and restoring and refeaturing. But I want to talk about how you are now moving with this latest version, because we have, like I said, I've seen them in different iterations, and what it means to you to be able to put them together as a trilogy now.
Yeah, I really am so grateful that in this very complex world that for me it's a difficult place to understand. It's a difficult place to grasp, and it becomes increasingly so as the days go by. I feel like I live in multiple worlds. There is one world in which I live where, as an artist, I've had room to grow
Mm-hmm.
and to develop. as an artist, I have been supported by so many people. As an artist, I have dared to push certain parameters and experience pushback, but also experience space.
Yes.
And I'm really grateful for this because I get to engage with my body of work and I get to experiment and I say I get because I want to recognize and acknowledge the role that community has played in supporting me through some of the most challenging times where the space seems to be tight and suffocating.
Yes.
It is community members who have stepped in to clear space so
Mm-hmm.
that I can continue to grow and live as an artistic, a creative practitioner. So the first thing is gratitude to grow. So that's meant that I have continually experimented with my body of work, and the latest experiment is what I'm calling panto dub
Mm-hmm.
theater. So panto is from pantomime.
Yes.
Jamaica's pantomime. Like I'm a baby of Jamaica's pantomime. Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
get away from it. I think I've always been going in this direction.
Sure.
It took me the time that it took me. Thank goodness it took me that time so that I'm actually here in a grounded way,
Mm-hmm.
in a joyful way. And so panto is from Jamaican pantomime, which is African storytelling tradition syncretized to some degree with British pantomime via, of course, the transatlantic enslavement system. The Brits brought pantomime to Jamaica. The
Right.
Africans refashioned and added and did the magical thing that we do to Sir Thrive. And then dub theater is a term that was first coined by one of the people credited with the pioneering dub poetry, Okunura in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Dub theater. So there's theater, Tieta, which is
Mm-hmm.
spelled in the nation language of Jamaica. So Okunura is credited with that. And Audrey-Zina Mandiela, who went to Jamaica, studied there, returned to Toronto, is credited with dub theater, Theatre.
That's right.
And so, and Audrey, of course, is one of the pioneers of the form as well, and is someone who femtored me for a good 7 years.
Yes.
And so, panto dub is this
Merging.
mashup of the principles of biomyth, but here's where panto dub gets interesting for me.
Yes.
In panto dub, there is what I'm calling a griot posse or a griot posse. And
Mhm.
essentially, you can think of the griot posse, the Greek chorus, as an African version of a griot posse,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
And so they function as the ancestors, they function as the imaginary friends, they function as the community gossipers, they function as the crew that you go to the dance hall session with.
Yeah.
I've got this griot posse who are actually practitioners currently studying at the Black Theatre School, which is a project that I've reignited since coming back a couple months ago.
Mhm.
For the last 20 years, I've had different iterations of this space to study Black performance arts. Fiwi Art Space turned into Anitafrika Dub Theatre, turned into the Water School. Then I went away to London for a few years. I've been away for like 7 years now and just returned at the beginning of the summer and reignited this idea to have an institution for Black arts practitioners to study specific decolonial Black performance forms. And so Four of those practitioners are working on this professional production as a part of their performance intensive. And so they formed the Griot Posse. So initially, I
Nice.
was returning as a monodramatist.
Hmm.
But then, as I have always done, as I have always done, using my work in the same way that the people who raised me
Yes.
used their work to
Hmm.
make space for me. I'm just doing what was done for me.
Of
I'm
course.
using my work to make space for these practitioners, so that they can shine, because they do shine. And you may have seen them in the summer. You know,
Hmm.
when I saw them at Summer Works
Yes.
in the workshop versions of the trilogy, I just thought to myself, absolutely, I must invite them to join me on stage, because it was so exciting, and it was a mirror to me that this is the direction I have wanted to go in for 20 years. But
Hmm.
everything takes its time, nothing happens overnight. And I needed that time to clarify the direction that the art is growing into. So
Hmm.
everything in time.
Everything in time for sure. Um, so thank you for bringing up the theater, the Black, remind me.
Black Theater School.
Yes, I was saying Black School Theater in my mind. Um,
Because that's what the logo actually, it says Black School Theater.
It's not, maybe that's why I'm getting my words mixed up.
That's what it
Um, but I'm happy that you're able to do that now. And like you said, you had the chance in the summer, and now you're gonna do it a little bit more extended.
Yeah.
So talk about the dialogue you've had with your colleagues now in terms of the three the three monodramas and any sort of input that they gave you that were sort of wow moments for you.
Yeah, no, the version of the Sankofa trilogy that you will see come September 23rd to October 12th is a collaborative creation. And so,
Mhm.
as the biomythicist on the program, the biomythicist, playwright, director, performer, my approach to creating theater is a collaborative approach. And so we've
Mhm.
got the blueprint of the plays that already existed. We've
Right.
also got the blueprint of biomyth monodrama. And the place that has been so exciting to work collaboratively
Mhm.
on is defining and experimenting with what does panto dub theater look like.
Mhm.
And it's been incredible, because each practitioner who is a part of the Griot Posse is of their own selves, uh, an incredible theater maker, right?
Right. Mhm.
Kajani, who is actually our musical weaver. And Kajani is like a vocalist extraordinaire and is also a musician, plays multiple instruments,
Mhm.
and has like a beautiful career as a singer, songwriter, poet, performer. We've got Josemar, who also is a Juno Award winning singer and musician and actor, studied acting in the US, and is also an award winning martial artist, which is like,
Wow.
we have Cabrina Robinson, who is again a trained performer, poet, writer, and also is a designer as well, which is
Yes.
incredible. That's a whole other aspect of Cabrina's career, that
Yeah.
they're the successful designer who works with authors all over the world, and is also a trained storyteller and trained in Jamaica.
Mhm.
And then we've got Kira Ford, who is a dancer, trained dancer, performer, and choreographer. So that's the griots. And then
Yes.
we have Earn in Motion, who is a
Mm-hmm.
choreographer. Earn in Motion is it's brilliant, brilliant choreographer um, who teaches dance and who is a performer herself
Yes.
of Jamaican lineage. We've got Rachel Forbes, who is the set designer,
Yes.
and who Rachel and I have worked together on multiple projects. And Rachel is, I mean, I keep going back to
Yeah.
Rachel
I
every
can
time.
see why. I've seen some of her work from your other productions.
I keep going back to Rachel because I can't get enough. I can't get enough. Rachel's just brilliant.
Hmm.
We have Stefan Smith, who is a sound designer, DJ, is himself
Hmm.
um, a rapper and a composer. And I worked with him on Daniel Jelani Ellis's Speaking of Sneaking. He's
Nice.
incredible. We've got Candice, who is studying at Black Theater School.
Mm.
And Candice is like a professional carnival arts practitioner, like
Oh,
has
wow.
been working for years and years and years, and is bringing her particular approach to mask
Yeah.
design
Hmm.
to the project. And we have Christopher Elizabeth. Oh
Hmm.
my goodness, who's doing the lights?
Yeah, I know you have an extensive, I mean, I love the fact that that is community in itself. You're supporting, you know,
And this is
colleagues.
these folks all together. Sophia is our stage manager, and we have let me drink some water.
Hmm.
We've got Sophia, our stage manager. We've got Brett Haynes, who is our producer, who I worked with during WATA for years and years and years. We've got Paul Ohonsi, our videographer, El De Leon, our creative engagement director, Selena McCullum, our photographer, Alex Sproul, our assistant technical director, and Shashoya Simpson, our assistant associate director.
Yes. Thank you for the organizing.
I mention all these people,
Yes.
Heidi, because what what the community will see is the result
Hmm.
of the collaborative, creative energy of all these people.
That's right. That's right.
That's about 25 people plus the theater center
Yes, of
accounts
course.
for maybe another 10 people. Like that's like 35 people.
Hmm. Hmm.
For me, that has always been the dream.
Hmm.
To on one hand, I really want to have the economic resources to do that.
Of course.
I
I was
do.
going to ask you, is this sort of like a dream, from where you started this to now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to have the economic resources to be able to hire artists
Right.
to work together collaboratively to create art for community.
Hmm.
If you ask me, what do I want to do with my life? That is what I want
It
to do
is
with
that.
my life.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is always what I have wanted to do with my life. And I have found in my career that I've been very adamant about removing myself from spaces that are not about that,
Mm.
which
Makes
has
sense.
made it, not easy.
Yes.
Why I'm celebrating right now, because I do in every fiber of my body, I feel like this moment is the one that I've been working for.
Mm.
I do feel that.
I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy to hear that
Thank you.
because it has been a life journey in this sense.
Yeah.
the way we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Um, they have the theater center is supporting you in kind of putting this kind of a week each, I think,
Each a week,
right? What's,
and
and then
then
you're gonna have a dance hall
a, a
session. Come
dance hall session.
on.
Like it's a whole thing. On the culminating weekend, October 11th and 12th, we're having a marathon. And what we want is we want the community to come together. We've come out of COVID. We're
Mm,
living in a world that's on fire. We
yes.
want people to come to the theater. So free food, feeding people in between the shows. So
That's
on Saturday the 11th, we've got a show at 2 o'clock, then a break. You eat some food, a show at 5 o'clock, then a break. You eat dinner, a show at 8 o'clock. And then after 8 o'clock on the 11th, we have a dance hall session. And then for those who can't come on Saturday, the
we can do
11th of
it Sunday.
October, we're going to do it on the 12th of October.
Wow.
No dance hall session on the 12th
I
because
know you need to sleep.
we gotta sleep. But essentially, we want to culminate with the community, spending time together. If you need to wear your mask or choose to wear your mask, come with your mask so that
Yes,
you
of course.
feel safe. You can bring your mask. We even have a mask, like a mask performance
Yes,
for community members who need other folks to also be masked up. We have
right.
mask performance. We have an ASL performance. We have a performance for moms and babies. You
Love
bring
that.
the baby and be in the theater with the baby, and the baby can cry. It's all good. We've got talk back sessions, blackout nights. Like we've really tried to make it so that there is a show
Hmm.
that as many people as possible can access.
That's right.
Yeah.
Based on what feels more comfortable for each one of us,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. I mean, the marathon sounds like the place to be for me. I don't know about my energy, but I
My mom
totally
said,
feel that energy you're transmitting through our chat. So I'm like, maybe I'll switch my tickets.
can you please tell the rest of the run?
Yes, of course. Or go twice, like do individual and come for the marathon, like
Yeah.
I think we get, like I said, I get different things on repeat
Yeah.
experiences,
Yeah.
viewings, whatever we want to call them. And I think it's also maybe it'll bring different things to
Yeah,
us.
I think so. For me as a storyteller, every show is different. My mom a very, very long time ago, said to me, any storytelling session that you are participating in, honor the people who are there in that moment. Sometimes that means that there's like two people in the audience.
I've seen that. I've seen that. Yes.
And let me tell you, she taught me that lesson so long ago. It's like deeply ingrained.
Mm,
If one person is in the audience, they're getting the full story, because if one person is in the audience, then that means you and that person have the potential to have a transformative experience. And
mhm.
that's what we're going to offer.
Yeah.
Whomever takes the time to come will feel the generosity of the offering of the
Mhm.
story.
Yeah, and I would say that I do appreciate those moments when I know it's been a few of us in the audience and we get so much back.
Yep.
And even
Yep.
together as audience members, I feel
Yep.
like you
Yep.
end up bonding
Yep.
a
Yep.
little bit.
Yep.
I want to ask you about care in terms of caring for each of your monodramas because of the stories that you're telling, the women that you're portraying, and also your self-care and how you navigate that.
Yeah. The care piece has been at the forefront of the conversation from the very beginning, because, what brought me to the work in the first place was the experience of the absence of care.
Mm, mm,
And so I really have developed some very clear boundaries throughout the years,
sure.
which sometimes community members appreciate and sometimes they don't.
Hmm.
And I've had to just learn how to be okay with drawing very clear boundaries around care and around how I desire to be treated and around how I treat myself
Yes.
in relation to myself and also in relation to community. And it's that is its own process that is challenging sometimes.
Mhm.
I will say that I have very intentionally organized my life in a way where I can have access to what I need. So, for example, from the very beginning of my career, I would work steadily in a focused way and then not work, like
Take a
leave.
break. Yeah.
Leave. I've done that from the very beginning. I leave for months at a time, sometimes years at a time.
Mhm. I mean, and that's fair, right? Because I mean, these stories are a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I leave. I
Yeah.
go. I mean, and what this has done for me in the 30 years is it's meant I've lived all over the world.
Yes. And you've gotten your
Literally.
PhD as
I've
well.
I've been able to do the other things that are important to me,
Yes.
developing myself in different kinds of storytelling. Like poetry is very important to me. And
Mm.
so I've left theater to do poetry, and I've left poetry to do dub, and I've left dub to do dance, and giving myself time to do all of this has been a part of the care. And I've also put art down and gone and lived in Costa Rica. Just
Yeah.
li-
Yeah.
just actually
I have
living,
followed that journey.
just being
Yes.
being with self and
Mm.
writing the PhD or teaching, or I've also paused on art to teach in
Yes.
university. So I really because I do believe that because in the beginning of my life there were many structures erected to prevent certain movements from me
Yes.
because of classism and anti-black racism and queerphobia and xenophobia and shadism and all the things that are there systemically operating, right? I think the for me, what that did for me, and I'm so grateful that whatever teachings I received from the people who taught me
Yes.
got me to this place.
Hmm.
It taught me very early to one, be independent. And when I say independent, I'm not saying the opposite of interdependent, because
Right.
interdependency is healthy. Interdependency is necessary. We're a social being. But the independence that I'm talking about is the kind of independence that it takes to not obsess about not being liked,
Hmm.
to not obsess about not being in a certain clique of people,
Of
but
course. Yes.
to really rely on one's own self and to really rely on the community that one has formed for sustenance and for spiritual nurturance.
Hmm.
I think those early experiences of being ostracized, alienated, not being othered,
Yes.
those experiences were crucial in teaching me how to construct a sense of self and a sense of personhood that was not reliant on social acceptance. That was not at the top of the
Hmm.
priority, to be socially accepted by everyone.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful for that, because at this age, which is like, I'm like almost half a century years old. I'm so close to being half a century years old. I look back and I look back with a sense of gratitude. I look back with a sense of, of excitement for the young person who grew through all
Hmm.
of that. And I look back with a sense of achievement for being able to be here now
Yeah.
in this way,
Hmm.
way. And
Yes.
that really makes me feel joy.
For sure. I mean, and it radiates, even though we're virtually connecting, I am feeling it. And I relate as well in terms of being recognizing when you need to be independent and, you
Yeah.
know, and taking those breaks.
Yeah.
Knowing how to say no, I guess, is also very important. You know. So how are you and your team managing this care part leading
Mhm.
into your performances that are coming up shortly and then afterwards?
Yeah, we do there is a whole framework that I've been developing for the last 20 years, the anitafrika method, which is a holistic framework for art
Hmm.
practitioners. And that is the framework that we use at Black Theater School. It's also the framework that I use in with the team.
Yeah.
So one of the first things we do is we make certain agreements about how we're going to treat each other and be with each other. We make
Mhm.
certain agreements around what is the healthy ways or practices that we're bringing into the space. And we have systems in place where when that doesn't happen, we can be able to address it. So the first thing is like, what is the cauldron that we're cooking in?
Mhm.
How do we talk to each other? How are we with each other in the space?
Yes.
And in that we encourage everyone to have clear personal boundaries
Hmm.
around how they are treated and how they treat others. That's one really crucial thing.
Yes.
Other thing is we have certain professional care pieces in place where we don't go overtime.
How
We don't
revolutionary.
don't go overtime. We just don't believe in overtime.
Yeah, for sure.
Overtime. And if there comes a day where we may go like half an hour earlier, or half an hour later, we make sure that we take it off the top of the next day. And this might not seem like a big deal, but however,
I would
in
assume it
so many
is.
work environments, the
Yeah.
overtime, the sort of nonchalantness around overtime,
Hmm.
like, but we are actually quite strict about that. We don't go overtime. We do not ask each other to give, casually more than what's been agreed to.
Yeah.
That's really important for me to have, to model for also for the practitioners who are in training
That's right.
that.
Mhm.
And what comes with that is we also have an expectation of each other that what we've agreed to is what we're going to actually do. And
Hmm.
if it's not the case, then we have to have a conversation about that in terms of like taking our agreements very seriously. If we agree to something, then that's the piece that we're going to do. And then also we check in with each other. So there's daily check-ins at the top of
Hmm.
the day and at the end of the day we have a check-in. We
Yeah,
literally
of
talk about
course.
how we are and share that with each other. We begin the day like that. We end the day like that. We also begin the day with somatic practices.
Okay, nice.
So before going into work,
Mm.
there's a process of doing somatic work, and that's a part of the method as well. And then we have check-ins outside of work
Sure.
so that we can, just ensure that each of us are getting what we need. And then for me, as the sort of, the weaver of the space, I also just love to give folks extra treats. Extra treats here and there, like lunch for everybody or a separate special gathering that has nothing to do with work, but like us gathering together to eat together and spend time together.
Mm.
That's also a part of it. So there, the space amongst the crew and the practitioners has been so beautiful.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, I mean, oh my goodness. When I say that this is what I've been working towards, I don't say that lightly. It is,
Hmm.
and for that to be happening right now, where the world, like
No, for
level
sure.
of unkindness, the level of a lack of empathy, a lack of compassion, just a lack of care for life in general, human life, plant life, animal life. earth life, just the earth itself, just like where wealth and power and systemic oppression is prioritized repeatedly while we go through, I think, a transformation and
Yeah.
a changing of the earth energies. Like I think, we're seeing this like heavy backlash because things are changing. And
Yes.
it's like no amount of backlash can stop that change. It's like the change is happening, but the backlash is going to come, and we who are alive during this moment, we have to ride it through and like and continue with the transformational work that we're doing so that the next generation receives a different earth. And I think, like for me, I'm committed to that. The people who came before me worked so that I could receive a different earth. It's not perfect, right? And clearly, we're
Yes.
at crossroads. But if our ancestors did not do the work that they did, you and I wouldn't be even having this
This
conversation,
conversation,
right? Because
100%.
right. So people before me did work. I must also do my work, and so that those who are coming after. So the Sankofa trilogy room has been so nurturing,
Mm.
so healing, so affirming, so healthy. And it's the room that I want to be in. There's not another room that I want to be in.
Thank you. I feel like when you put it that way, it makes sense that we're going to experience these three stories together now,
Yeah.
unless not separately, which
Yeah.
we have in the past.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to feed into this, like you said, we're going through this transformation globally, but also, maybe personally
Yeah.
and in community. So I think it makes sense to experience these stories,
Mhm.
work through them together,
Yeah.
right? 'Cause I think we're going to be working through some stuff, and we
Yeah.
come at it differently because we're also, some of us are at different ages.
And we'll come at it differently. And I think
Yeah.
there's space in all three stories for all of us. They're very different.
Yeah.
The trilogy follows three generations of women in the same family, in the Sankofa family. So we meet Mudgu Sankofa at 15 in blood.claat. Then
Mhm.
we meet Mudgu's daughter, Sekesu Sankofa, at 20, between 28 and 30 in
Yeah.
Benu. And then we meet Benu's daughter, Sekesu's daughter,
Yes.
Benu, in word sound powah. And Benu is at that time she's about 20 or so. And
Hmm.
they're three very different, like aesthetically, they're very different. So blood.claat is like, it's like panto dub theater. It's like it's tragic, it's comedic, it's tragic, and it's also hopeful, and it follows a linearity that's different from the other two.
That's right.
Benu, Benu is like, think the color blue. Benu is blue. Benu is a long poem. It's just
Mm.
it's a very strange and sweet piece. It's like contemporary dance meets
Yeah, that's so
it's just
true.
and it's like mythical and but
Hmm.
also very real because it's looking at Black women and the medical industrial complex
Hmm.
and birth trauma. So it's also very real, but it's also like it's like it's mentally it's like a cloud, a moving cloud. It's just very strange. And then word sound powah is like word sound powah is like it feels like a concert to me. That's what it feels like. It feels like a soft concert. I'm like, this is like a dub concert.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Right.
Yes.
And again, it's got this like political, like
Yes.
it's a political commentary, right? It's very much talking about the militarization of interpersonal communication and the way that like colonialism has impacted people in these former colonies and the ways in which coloniality lives on the insides of our bodies. So yeah, it's dealing with some heavy stuff, and it's also very much a dub concert.
Yeah, I would say it is too.
Like at
Um,
the same time.
and that's what I mean. We're gonna get different things from each one. I think I was at a workshop of benu, and at the end, I think we got sweets.
Yes, you
You
got the
know, so
cinnamon balls.
that's when you said there's a sweetness to it. I'm like, yes, I know what you mean.
that. That was that was Summer Works. That
That
was
was
a
summer work.
Summer Works.
I don't
And
remember what year, but I'm
yeah, I
saying
don't
it's like,
remember what year either, but that was like early. And I was still learning my
yes,
lessons
you
and my
throwing the
script,
papers.
and I was dropping my script on
But I'm
stage.
like, that worked perfectly. But we all knew it was workshops. And I think that's the beauty of these stories of they can exist in all these formats.
Yeah,
And somehow they've stayed, like I said, they've stayed with me. I remember the sweetness of that one specifically, you know?
wow, awesome. I am so excited for you to see
I
this.
am now too. I mean, I was already, but I'm now even more excited because I mean, like I said, connecting with you has always been something that I wanted to do. And, I'm glad that we got to do it. And I know it's out of your time. You've been rehearsing,
Oh,
putting things
like
together.
I'm like I said to Shoya, I was like, Shoya, Sunday evening, I would, because we got today off and we get tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like Sunday evening, Shoya, because then no work
Yeah, for sure.
all day, just thinking about
Well, me
things,
too.
oh, letting it settle, and like, so this is like the perfect time because the daytime is just, oh
It's
my
too
goodness,
hectic.
I'm like,
Too hectic.
what's happening?
It's too hectic. I'm the same. I have a day job. So, we're like somewhere else. Our brain is just somewhere else, right? So we need to be able to be in our moment and sit down and chat. I'm really looking forward to it's going to be a good run, September 23rd to the October 12th. So let's hope we can all kind of hang out in community and experience that.
I can't wait to see you there. I cannot.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and your work.
Thank
Always a fan.
you for your support. Thank
Thank
you.
you.